Magandang tanghali Pilipinas. Nagbigay ng kanyang Talk to the People address kagabi si Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte at ito po ang ilang mga tinalakay niya. No? Muling nagpaalala po ang Pangulo na sundin ang health protocols ngayong Kapaskuhan. Dahil sabi nga niya, no, nandyan na yung bakuna. Sayang naman kung ngayon pa tayo magkakasakit at kaya naman nating maiwasang magkasakit sa pamamagitan ng mask, hugas, iwas. Huwag po nating baliwalain ang banta ng COVID-19, no? Dagdag pa ng presidente at hinalimbawa niya yung isang kaibigan niya para bigyang diin ito. Nagpahayag din ang presidente ng kanyang banta na sisibakin ang mga opisyal ng Toll Regulatory Board dahil sa gulo sa RFID. Kaugnay nito, ito ang 7 kautusan or instruction sa mga operator na ibinigay ng DOTR. No? Una, i-convert ang mga emergency signages sa cash signages. Pangalawa, i-transfer o reposition ng RFID stickering at reloading sites sa mga gasoline station ng mga lugar na may malawak na espasyo malayo sa toll plaza. Bakit ka nga naman maglalagay ng sticker doon mismo sa toll plaza? Natural, magkaka-traffic. No? Pangatlo, maglagay ng designated lanes para sa RFID at cash lanes. Pang-apat, pinapayagan ng mga ambulansya at mga sasakyang ginagamit sa pagpapatupad ng batas o law enforcement na magdaan sa anumang lane. Panglima, pag-aralan ng pagtanggal ng mga barrier. No? At kanina nga po, napabalita na nagkaroon na po ng kasunduan ang syudad ng Valenzuela at ang operator na tatanggalin na nila yung barrier sa Valenzuela. No? Pang-anim, ang mga small town plaza ay kinakailangang may hiwalay na RFID at cash lane. At panghuli, na pang-7 po, no, taasan ang wattage specification ng RFID sensors. Ito naman po yung 3 kautusan ng sa TRB ni Secretary Tugade. No? Una, maglagay ng roving at station marshals. Pangalawa, magkaroon ng monthly audit na may daily reports galing sa mga toll marshals. Napag-alaman kasi ni Sec Tugade na ang audit pala ay kada 2 taon. Sabi nga ni Sec Tugade, kaya nga ang tawag sa'yo, toll Regulatory Board. Dahil ang pangalan nyo ay Toll Regulatory, hindi po pwedeng kada 2 taon ang pag-o-audit nyo. Dapat yan regular. Pangatlo, paintingin ang pagpapatupad ng enforcement. Sa usaping bakuna naman, syempre nag-report po ang ating vaccine SAR, Secretary Galvez. No? Unang-una, binalita niya na nagkaroon ng Vaccine Logistics Summit na dinaluhan ng 575 participants na isinagawa kahapon December 16. Pinag-usapan po dyan yung detalye kung paano makakarating sa ating taong bayan ang mga bakuna pagdating po sa ating bansa o matapos siya maangkat kung saan sila manggagaling. Ito po ay patunay na tuloy-tuloy lang po ang pinapatupad nating Philippine National Vaccine Roadmap. Balikan po natin yung mga stages. No? Meron po tayong stage para sa scientific evaluation and selection, access and acquisition, procurement process and financing, production, shipment and storage, distribution and deployment, implementation and nationwide vaccination, assessment, evaluation and monitoring. Nasa na ba ho tayo ngayon? No? Ngayon po, nandito na po tayo sa 2021. Medyo maliit po. No? So, nandito na po tayo na yung ating assessment, evaluation and monitoring, continuing naman po yan. No? Pero sa planning, hanggang nandiyan pa rin po tayo hanggang 2021 at saka nasa preparation stage na po tayo. No? Pero inaasahan nga po natin na pagdating po ng first quarter ng 2021, meron na tayong 4 na magagamit. Posible po sana. Sinovac, Malaya, Sinopharm, CanSino. Pagdating po ng second quarter, Sinovac, Malaya, AstraZeneca, Sinopharm at CanSino. Pagdating ng third quarter, Sinovac, Malaya, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Covax, J&J, Novavax, and Moderna. At lahat na po ng mga bakuna ay talaga magagamit na pagkatapos po ng third quarter. Pero magsisimula po talaga tayo, ang target ay first quarter ng 2021. Now, syempre po, no, uulitin ko po no, na ang priority natin pagdating po sa pagbakuna ay yung tinatawag na geographical at yung sector. No? Ang geographical po ay syempre yung mga matataas na mga lugar at saka yung sectoral po, yung mga mahihirap, mga matatanda, mga frontliners at kapulisan. So ito po yung mga pinaghahandaan ng mga LGUs, no, in coordination with DILG, DOH, and NTF, yung priority listing ng mga mababakunahan by geographical area at sector, inventaryo ng posibleng vaccination centers sa mga pampubliko at pribadong ospital at vaccination areas, inventaryo ng cold chain storage at available transportation, QR code at PISCIF ng lahat ng mga taong mababakunahan sa ilalim po yan ng PhilSys o ng ID system, ang pag-mobilize ng required people at vaccinator at auxiliary costs, kasama na po yung training, orientation at simulation, ang paghikayat ng mga lokal na pamahalaan ng tripartite agreement sa pagitan ng pamahalaan, LGUs at mga kumpanya ng mga bakuna. Additional cost na kakailanganin sa preparasyon at implementation. Mabalik tayo doon sa huling cabinet meeting po, no? Yung 49th cabinet meeting noong Lunes, December 14, na pag-usapan tulad ng inilabas kong statement kahapon ang Philippine Identification System or PhilSys. Inaprubahan po ni Presidente at ng kanyang kabinete ang 3.52 billion na karagdagang budget para sa susunod na taon na gagamitin para sa pagpaparehistro ng 20 milyong individual on top of the 50 billion target para sa PhilSys bago matapos ang 2021. So ang target po natin, bago umalis po sa opisina ng Presidente, lahat po ng mga adults o mga may edad na o sapat na edad ay marirehistro sa PhilSys. Ang kabuong PhilSys budget para sa 2021 ay nasa 8.1 billion. Ito ay para sa pagpaparehistro ng hindi bababa sa 50 milyong individual sa susunod na taon. Ang target po ng Philippine Statistics Authority, ang ahensya na may mandato na manguna sa PhilSys, ay matapos ang pagrehistro ng entire adult population bago matapos ang administrasyon. Dahil dito, kinakailangan na iparehistro ang dagdag ng 20 milyon sa 2021 para sa taong 2022, nasa 22 milyon na lamang ang mga target registrants, kasama na ang mga kababayan nating nasa ibang bansa. At ito ay kailangan ng karagdagang 3.52 billion pesos na budget sa susunod na taon with an estimated 176 pesos per person per cost of registration. Ito naman po ang update na pinresenta at inaprubahan din sa cabinet meeting sa Task Force Build Back Better. Inaprubahan po ng Pangulo at ng kanyang gabinete ang mga plano ng Task Force Build Back Better na pinangungunahan po ng ating DNR Secretary with the Secretary of Public Works and Highways as co-chairs, no? Pagdating po sa flood mitigation at management. Kabalik dito po ang pag-mobilize at sustain ng deployment ng government assets, kasama po ang Hukbong Sandatahan at ang DPWH para sa widening ng Magapit Narrows at pagtanggal ng 19 sandbars sa Cagayan River. Ito po yung dahilan kung bakit napakatindi po ng pagbaha doon sa Cagayan, no? Lalong-lalo na doon sa Alcala, kung saan meron palang 3 sandbars na kinakailangan tanggalin. No? Pagbalik sa Marikina River sa kanyang original state sa pamamagitan ng pagtanggal sa mga illegal na struktura. Lumalabas po kasi na nagkaroon pala ng reclamation dyan sa Marikina River na naging dahilan, no? Kung bakit nabago po yung original na flow ng river at dahilan kung bakit matindi po ang pagbabaha ngayon dyan sa Marikina. Pag-fast track ng panukalang DPWH flood mitigation projects kasama ang Upper Marikina Dam and the Parañaque Spillway at panghuli ang pag-rehabilitate ng existing floodgates at pumping station at construction ng 7 flood control projects sa Bigo River. Kasama po natin ngayon ang chairperson ng task force na secretary rin ng Department of Environment and Natural Resources, si Secretary Simatu, para sa karagdagang mga detalye at para sagutin ang tanong ng ating mga kasama sa Malacañang Press Corps. Inaprubahan din po ang mga sumusunod na mga kinalaman sa forest protection and protected area management. No? Una, ang pagpapatupad ng whole of society approach sa kampanya sa anti-illegal logging sa Sierra Madre, Cordillera, Caraballo Mountain at Marikina River Basin na may aktibong partisipasyon ng mga LGUs. Pangalawa, ang pag-intensify ng management ng protected area sa Sierra Madre, Marikina at Bico River Basins. Pangatlo, ang request ng Presidente na i-certify as urgent ang House Bill number 6973 at Senate Bill 1878, an act creating the Environmental Protection and Enforcement Bureau sa ilalim ng DNR. Punta naman po tayo sa ating COVID-19 update. No? Ito po ang global update ayon sa Johns Hopkins. No? Higit 74 million na po or 74,115,894 ang tinamaan ng COVID-19 sa buong mundo. Nasa 1,646,942 na po ang mga binawian ng buhay dahil sa coronavirus. Nangunguna pa rin po ang Estados Unidos. Meron po silang mahigit 16 million na mga kaso at 307,000 deaths. Pangalawang India na pangatlo po ang Brazil, Russia, and France. Dito po sa atin, meron na po tayong 24,873 na mga aktibong kaso ayon sa December 16 datos ng Department of Health. 22,803 or 91.7% ay asymptomatic, mild or moderate, samantalang 2,070 or 8.3% ay severe or critical. Nasa 419,282 po ang mga gumagaling or 92.56 recovery rate. Samantala, nasa 1.95% ang case fatality rate or 8,833 ang binawian ng mga buhay dahil sa coronavirus. Nakikiramay po kami. Now, makikita po natin ngayon sa sumusunod na infographics ang kumpirmadong kaso ng COVID-19 by adjusted onset of illness date as of December 16, 2020. Nako, mga kaibigan at kababayan, makikita niyo po rito, no, yung nagpa-plateau po siya. No? Ito po yung mga dates na November 19, yung linggo ng November 12, hanggang November 19 at saka hanggang November 26. Nag-plateau po o bumabagal na po ang pagbaba ng decreasing trend. Kaya nga po sinasabi ng DOH, baka ito na simula ng pagtataas muli ng mga numero. Dahil nga po, mukhang nagiging pabaya ang ating ilang mga kababayan dahil nga po sa Kapaskuhan. So ito naman po ay nagsisimula pa lamang. Pwede pa po natin itong ma-reverse. Ang panawagan po ng Presidente, sana po abutan tayo lahat ng bakuna, mask, hugas, iwas. Patuloy din po ang pagbaba ng daily attack rate sa buong bansa na mula 1.41 noong November 15 to 28 ay naging 1.35 noong November 29 to December 12. Pero dito po sa Metro Manila, no, samantalang sa Metro Manila ay wala pong pinagbago, no, nananatiling 2.71 noong November 15 to 28 hanggang November 29 to December 2. Pero ang malungkot na balita po sa NCR, no, meron na pong siyam na mga syudad na unti-unti na pong tumataas yung daily attack rate at yung 2-week growth rate by region. So ito po'y ebidensya na mukhang sumisipa muli po ang mga numero ng COVID-19. Ang gusto po natin, magkaroon ng Merry Christmas at Happy New Year. Huwag po nating i-celebrate ang Pasko sa hospital na baka naka-ventilator pa. Alam naman po natin kung anong gagawin natin para pangalagaan, ingatan ang ating mga buhay para tayo makapaghanap buhay, mask, hugas, at iwas. Pagdating naman po sa healthcare utilization rate, well, pumunta muna tayo sa Health System Capacity Indicators. Makikita nyo po na dito po sa graph nito na hindi pa umaabot sa moderate, no? Yung yellow po ang moderate, yung red ang critical. Pero nakikita nyo may mga ilang lugar na palapit na ng palapit dun sa moderate, no? Gaya ng Region 11, ng Region 4A, ng Region 2, at Angkar. Ang yellow naman po ay moderate risk, pero malapit na rin po yan sa dangerous level na 70%. Now, papaalalahanan ko lang po kayo. Kapag umabot po tayo ng critical, yan po isang dahilan para magkaroon na naman tayo ng mas striktong quarantine. Yan po yung isang indicator para bumalik sa mas striktong quarantine classification. Pero wag po kayong mag-alala, bagamat napakadami pong fake news na sa Disyembre raw ay mababago ang quarantine classification, hindi naman po totoo yan dahil monthly na po ang ating quarantine classifications. Kaya nga lang, kung tayo magpapabaya, baka pagdating ng Enero, mas stricto naman ang ating quarantine, lalong-lalo na dito sa Metro Manila. So, paulit-ulit po tayo nagsasabi, pag-ingatan ang ating mga buhay para sa ating mga hanap buhay. Ito naman po ang estado ng ating temporary training and monitoring facilities as of December 15. No? Well, gaya po ng ating yung sa ating mga ospital, malayo naman po tayo sa critical, no? Sa katunayan, nagbabawas na po tayo ng TTMF sa mga lugar na gaya ng Cebu kasi nga po kumonti na ang mga kaso. Kaya makikita nyo sa susunod na slide ng TTMF, talagang nagbawas po tayo ng mga numero, no? On a national basis, nagbawas po tayo ng 5,530 beds sa mga TTMFs natin. Meron po tayong 164,659 at makikita nyo po na sa NCR, nagbawas din po tayo ng kaunting mga TTMR bed capacity. On other matters naman po, no, bumaba ng halos kalahati ang mga Pilipinong nagugutom. Ito po isang ayon sa huling survey na isinagawa ng Social Weather Station. Yung November 2020 data po, 16% ang hunger rate. Malungkot pa rin po yan dahil alam nating napakadami na nagugutom pa. Pero ito nga po ay kalahati noong hunger rate na narehistro noong Setyembre 2020. Itong 16% naman po ay doble ng hunger rate bago po magkaroon ng pandemya. Yung pagbawas po ng kalahati sa hunger rate, ito po ay resulta ng unti-unti natin pagbubukas ng ating ekonomiya. Pero may banta nga po na itong unti-unting pagbubukas, baka maantala kung dadami po ang kaso ng COVID. So, the best way to celebrate Christmas po, if you really love your family, iwasang magkasakit po, no? So, mask, iwas at hugas. Dito po tayo nagtatapos ng ating presentasyon, pero kasama po natin ngayon ang Task Force Build Back Better DNR Secretary Simatu. Sir, good afternoon, Secretary Simatu. Nabasa ko na po kanina kung ano yung mga naaprubahan ng ating huling cabinet meeting, pero siguro po pwede nating dagdagan ng kaunting detalye at kung ano pang bagong updates natin sa inyong task force. The floor is yours, Secretary Simatu.
Good afternoon, Secretary Roque. Good afternoon, members of media. I will add further some details about our approved recommendations during the cabinet meeting. And before I asked for approval, I presented to the cabinet and to the president the data that we were able to gather as a basis for our recommendations. I told the president that I went personally to the river, the 500-kilometer river, coming from the sources of the river. There are two sources of the Cagayan River na nag-join, including other tributaries, na mag-empty dito sa dagat sa Pari. In the figure, I'm showing. I hope you can see it, Secretary. I started from the source from Quirino and Santa Fe by helicopter. Kita namin doon. And if you look at the chart, I am showing this to show the elevation of the river from the source down to the mouth of the river. Started from Quirino, ang elevation doon of the river, not the mountains, but the river itself. Pinapakita ko ito, yung elevation, almost 700 meters ang kataas ng river na yan. At saka sa Santa Fe, 600 meters naman. Mag-join together ito to be the Cagayan River. Now, from Santa Fe, this part of Nueva Vizcaya, bababa ito to Bayumbong, Nueva Vizcaya. Pagdating sa Bayumbong, 288 meters na lang ang kataas ng river. I observed that Bayumbong, nadaanan ko yun, tabi mismo yung river, yung Bayumbong, walang flooding doon, walang baha doon. Pagbaba naman, somewhere after several kilometers, bumaba sa Ilagan, doon na nagumpisa yung flooding. Ang elevation po ng river doon is 47 na lang, coming from 700 or 650, 47 na lang ang elevation ng river. Pagbaba sa more, going down further to Tugigaraw, 20 meters na lang yung river. Pagdaan mo sa Alcala, 8 meters na lang hanggang sa Magapit, Naro, na ito yung center ng aming project eventually. Then pagdating sa Apari, mag-zero, above sea level na lang yan. So if you look at from Iligan to the mouth of the river, very gentle ang slope pagbaba ng river. Kaya dito ang ipapakita ko sa inyo ngayon yung extent of the river from Iligan, Tugigaraw, Ilagan, Tugigaraw at saka Alcala at saka Magapit. Please show the ito yung yung flooded area. Mula dito sa ang down sa baba ito ay Tugigaraw, then go to Amulong, then it goes to Alcala. Yon papaba doon sa Magapit down to Apare. Yan po yung river. Tignan ninyo sa tabi ng river ay baha. Dito lalo na sa Amulong, baba dyan is Tugigaraw na. So ito ngayon yung pinakita ko sa iyo kasi almost the same elevation na yung river dito. Ngayon, nagtatanong kayo, bakit walang flood dito sa may, dito walang flood dyan, sa banda dyan? Ay because yung bank of the river mataas, parang bundok-bundokin yan sa baba, dito sa may, between Alcala at saka dito sa Magapit River. Ito ngayon doon, hanggang doon sa may dulo, ay baha po ito. Dahil sa mga walang bahayan, sinabi ko kanina, ay mataas ang bundok sa tabi ng river yan. So, hindi talagang mag-overflow. Next. Yun ang nakita ko. So, ipapakita ko ngayon itong Magapit na Ros. Ito kasi yung sentro ng ating intervention. And ito yung approval ni Presidente, the approval of the President, ito sa presentation ko, sa recommendation ko, ay ito na ngayon yung mobilize and sustain deployment of government assets from the Armed Forces of the Philippines or the Corps of Engineers at saka DPWH for the widening of that Magapit Naros and removal of 19 sandbars. Mamaya ipapakita ko rin itong 19 sandbars, pero unahin ko muna itong intervention na gagawin mismo ng ating mga government agencies. Ang ating DPWH at saka yung ating Corps of Engineers ng Armed Forces will be pooling their resources, engineering equipment na mag-undertake mismo dito sa project nito. This will be addressed by our government agencies. In the chart ay dalawa, yung kulay pula ay these were the original plan of JICA to come up with a channel na idadaan yung hindi na dadaan sa Magapit sa yan, yung iikot pa kasi dyan, doon magsisikip. Gusto nila idiretso na sana channel. Pero medyo mataas-taas ang elevation yan. So, hanggang plano lang muna several years back yan by the JICA. So what we are recommending that it can be already doable at saka magawa na natin kaagad, meaning kaagad. Ito yung dotted line dyan. Napakasikip kasi yan. Ang original width of the river po ay yung mga 700 meters ang Cagayan River. Pagdating dito, bumababa na from 300 meters hanggang pinakamasikis 150 meters na lang. Diyan sa may Magapit. Diyan sa bridge na yan, yung may konting that's the one, that's the bridge. That is only 150 meters. So pag sikip na yan, dahil naman sa level ng river ay hindi naman masyadong mabilis yung takbo ng tubig kasi ang elevation ng river almost the same na yung mga yan So mabagal na yung takbo ng tubig diyan. Pag dumating dito sa masikip na ito ay ano na, magbarado na diyan. So tatas na yung tubig hanggang doon sa upstream sa pinanggalingan ng ano dito sa Tuguegarao side, nag-flood na lahat ang mga ano diyan, upstream diyan. So yan na pinakita ko kanina na this is the reason why we have to widen itong mag-apit na ROS na ito. Yung dotted line na yan ang plano natin na bawasan yan. Taptaban natin ito so that alisan natin itong bank of the rivers na yan as in the dotted line on both sides. We believe, and this has been computed, na if you do this, yung flooded areas noon ay babawasan ng several meters. So ito yung ating doable immediate na gagawin natin. Nagkausap ko kanina, by the way, Mr. Secretary, Secretary Roque, before this meeting, that we had a meeting also, and finding out the progress and update by the respective agencies. Kausap ko yung DPWS kanina. They are already preparing for the deployment of their assets. And nabanggit ko nila, and sabi nila they will do. In fact, sinabi ko na sana as soon as possible, pero they are requested for next month na lang, January. The idea is to pool the resources of the DPWH, yung mga gagamitin na pang-alis ng lupa na yan dyan, at saka yung Corps of Engineers. They are mobilizing their equipment and assets so that may deploy na nila ito to undertake this project. So ito ngayon na ginagawa natin, and this is for the magapit na ROS. Ito yung ano yan, yung matagtaban yan. That's very ano kasi, 150 meters na lang kasi yan. Ang kanila explanation sa atin, because of the slope, gentle slope ng river ay mabagal ito. Sinasabi nila, parang sa traffic rin ito eh. Kung nasa 4 lane ka, tapos bigla na lang mag 2 lanes yung kalsada, ay talagang magbabara na talaga upstream. So ganito nangyari talaga doon. And now also, kindly show the, these are the dredging of the 19 priority sites. 19 po lahat ng ano ito. And if you look at the map, makikita yung mga bilog-bilogan yan, 19 yan. Yan ang isang project rin natin na babawasan o alisan yan sa mga alisin yung mga sandbars yan na nakadagdag ito sa problema ng flooding dyan. So ito po yung ating plano, and also yung second one na medyo kailangan talaga is in the Marikina River. Now if we show you the Marikina River, nagbawas ito. If you at the left side, in the 1982, if you look closely, the bank of the river in 1982 yung naka-kulay blue. That is a portion of the Marikina River. Now, if you compare that in 2019, nabawasan na yung bank of the river. And ang pagbawas yan, from 90 meters yata yung width of the river, naging 60 meters na lang dyan sa banda dyan. Dito sa right side of the map, ito, yan. Yan ang naidagdag. Naalis dyan sa river, naalis yan, na tabunan. Pinapacheck ko kung natabunan ba by natural causes or reclaim. So survey ko yan, and nakita natin talaga na dinagdagan. Na ito sa taas yan, ito if you look at it, dyan sa, ano yan is the Provident Village. That's the Provident Village. And then dyan sa other side, the back of the Provident, ay yan, ang nangyari ngayon, itong kulay yellow na yan. So, nagdagdag ng nabawasan yung river ng ganyan karami. And alam namin kung ano yung mga lot numbers yan na yun lang naman kasi yung nangyari niyan. So these are the things that na gagawin natin di Cagayan River and di Marikina River. So yan naman ang ating ano naman except that meron din tayong isang inapprove nila yung fast tracking of the flood mitigation projects ng Marikina Dam and Parañaque Spillway. So this will be also fast track in the form of the planning at saka execution later on by the DPWS. This is considered a long-term plan for the Marikina River. So also in the rehabilitation of some floodgates and pumping stations and 7 flood controls in the Bicol River. Na-approve rin ni Presidente ito. Then likewise, on the forest protection and protected area management, I would like to aggressively implement the illegal logging in these areas in cooperation with the LGUs and also the protected areas in these areas. I also requested if to the President for the certifying as urgent our request for a legislated law and the establishment of the Enforcement Bureau of the DENR. So that's my short briefing, Mr. Secretary. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, maraming salamat, Secretary Simatu. Pumunta na po tayo sa ating open forum. Simulan po natin with Yusek Roque.
Yes, good afternoon, Secretary Roque, Secretary Simatu. Question from Laila Salaveria of Inquirer. What is Malacañang going to do about Senator Lacson's statement that it was Department of Health Secretary Duque who dropped the ball on the deal with Pfizer for 10 million doses of its vaccine? Lacson said the deal fell through because the Secretary failed to submit a confidentiality agreement. How does the palace plan to remedy the situation?
Well, una-una po, tuloy po ang ating negosasyon sa Pfizer. At inaasahan po natin na darating ang Pfizer sa second to third quarter ng taong ito. Ang problema po, as of January of this year, halos lahat po ng production ng Pfizer ay nabili na po ng iilang mga mayayamang bansa, kasama na po ang Estados Unidos, ang Inglaterra, ang Singapore at ang Australia. Pero pagdating naman po doon sa mga paratang na nag-drop down ng ball si Secretary Duque kagabi po, sinabihan po ni Presidente si Secretary Duque to answer the allegations by Secretary Locsin.
Okay, question for Secretary Simatu from Laila Salaveria. Secretary Simatu, ang question po ni Laila, will private firms be involved in the Cagayan River project? How does the DNR address concerns about foreign contractors that offer to conduct a dredging for free because they can amass river materials that they can export or sell for a profit to be used in other projects such as land reclamation activities?
We have a ruling that walang foreign contractors po rito. All Filipinos po ito by construction company. And this is really a part of our restoration river restoration projects all over the country. Hindi lang naman po sa Cagayan River ito. All rivers na kailangan i-restore ay we are allowing contractors to dress the for free. But they can get their itong makuha nila na mga stands doon and for whatever they para naman ma-recover yung kanilang cost of dredging. So, I repeat, we will not allow contractor foreigner dito.
Opo. Sabi pa, ang question pa rin po ni Laila for Secretary Simatu, lawyer Joel Butuyan, who is from Cagayan, said, arrangements like this could also mean that the dredging might not be done properly as the contractors could stop their activities once they get the materials they need.
Mayroon pong memorandum of agreement yun, 2 taon. 2 years and tinanong ko kanila kung how many contractors kailangan dito sa mahaba-habang rivers na ito mahaba. So we have the bottom line of this is to help in the mitigation of the flooding. Talagang silted na. In fact, the mouth of the river po sa Apari ngayon, dati malalim yan. Makakapasok ng barko noon yan. Pero ngayon, 1 meter na lang and so forth and so on. So we have to dress talaga ito. And this is really very necessary. Kasi kung habang mataas yan, talagang mabagal talaga yung takbo ng river. So, the governor is very very thankful of this so that ma-address na rin itong flooding eventually naman.
Okay, thank you, Secretary.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Yusek. Punta tayo kay Melo Acuña, please.
Good afternoon, Secretary, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Meron po kayang statement ng Malacañang sa pagkakapatay kay Dr. Mary Rose Sanselan at sa kanyang mister na si Edwin sa Gihulngan. Siya po ang City Health Officer ng Gihulngan sa Negros Oriental.
Yan po iniimbestigahan ng ating PNP at inaasahan po natin na magiging mabilis ang investigasyon ng mahuli na po, malitis at maparusahan ang pumatay kay Doktora.
Opo. Pangalawa pong tanong, sa libu-libo pong nakuhang contact tracers ng DILG, meron na po kayang pag-uulat kung ano naging performance nila sa kanilang contact tracing? May leksyon na po ba tayo natutuhan sa kanilang nakuhang datos?
Ayan naman po ay ongoing, no? At ang ating ina-attempt po ngayon ay sundin yung formula ni Mayor Magalong, no? Na we will go beyond what we normally do, no? Ang gusto ni Mayor Magalong, if I'm not mistaken, is 1 is to ewan ko ba ko, nakalimutan ko na, pero we're aiming na at least 1 is to 13 to 15 ang ating mga contact tracers, no? But I will give you an update kung nasaan na tayo pagdating dyan.
Apo, thank you. Para kay Secretary Simatu, magandang hapon po, Secretary Roy Simatu. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon po.
Opo. Ano na po nangyari doon sa pagsisiyasat ninyo sa quarry sa Albay? May na-demanda na po bang mga lumalabag sa batas sapagkat ayon sa report, 15 raw po yung nagko-quarry doon at ang informasyon sa akin kanina, tuloy pa rin yung nagko-quarry. Ano po kaya ang pwede nating i-update?
Yes, good afternoon. Maalala ko nung nagkaroon ng problema doon, pinasuspend ko lahat all around the volcano. 109 lahat yata po yun eh. Tapos, especially yung 12 na sinususpekan na kinumplain ng mga tao doon na instrumental sa pagtrabaho doon. Dito sa may pagkamatay nga ng 4 yata namatay doon eh, natabunan. So ko lahat ito, pinasuspend ko lahat. Then sabi ko, yung all around the volcano, ay tignan niya yung compliance nila kung okay naman. So after 2 weeks yata, 3 weeks, ay nagbigay naman sila ng report kaagad. After that one, nabanggit nila that they are recommending for the resumption of the 199 lahat except for 9 na nakita namin na non-compliant. So yung mga non-compliant po naman, so they allowed it to kasi nagrereklamo naman yung governor doon na nawalan na sila ng mga aggregates because of this suspension. So siya po ay suspended po ngayon, hindi sila except for the around the main volcano po.
Apo, hindi po ninyo kakasuhan yung hanggang ngayon hindi sumusunod sa regulasyon?
Actually may po yung mga we did not allow muna, but if let's say eventually kailangan talaga sila because they will be given penalties po ito. If they are not compliant, they will be given penalties bago payagan na mag-operate ulit. Hanggat hindi pa sila nag-comply sa nalaman namin na pagkakamali nila, hindi namin sila papayagan. And charges will be given to them, especially yung mga may namatayan doon sa lugar na yan po.
Opo. Salamat po, Secretary Roy Simatu.
Bago tayo magpatuloy, no, yung Magalong formula on tracing po is 1 is to 37. Now, naalala ko po na dati sinabi sa Metro Manila masyado daw marami yon, no? Pero nag-insist po si Mayor Magalong na to be effective, kinakailangan talaga 1:37. So ang aking ifa-follow up po ngayon kung nasaan na yung ating mga contract tracers, kung sila ba ho ay at least hitting 1:15 o 1:20. But the goal remains 1:37. Yes,
Thank you.
Yusek Roque?
Yes, question for Secretary Simato, tanong po mula kay MJ Blanca Flor of Daily Tribune. Secretary Simato, ano po ang specific plans on flood mitigation approved by the President for Cagayan Province and Marikina City?
Well,
Ayun, katulad yung sinabi ko kanina po,
Apo.
yung aside from the engineering interventions na nabanggit ko yung dalawa yan, is the aggressive, itong illegal lagi kasi contributory naman talaga yung mga nakalbo na dito sa taas ng Sierra Madre, saka Cordillera, saka Caraballo Mountain. Ito po yung mga nag-concentration namin ngayon dito sa mga forest na saka National Greening Program po namin. And in fact, for the information also, we will restore the 20-meter easement dito sa Cagayan River. Meaning, on the bank of the river, 20 meters both sides, ay talagang walang structures po yan. At saka, in fact, katunayan po, magtatanim po kami ng kahoy dyan for the tabi ng river. Ang una namin naisip na tatanim ay bamboo. So, for the length of the river talaga, we will be planting along the bank of the river, 20 meters po wide from the bank of the river. So, ito po yung mga interventions natin at saka yung major na gagawin namin is the Bagapit Daro, babawasan namin yung width ng doon para mas maluwag yung pagdaloy ng tubig. At saka yung 19 na nag-ipon ng lupa na sa gitna ng river ay alisin yon para mapabilis naman ang pag-agos ng river.
Opo.
Ano
Yung,
po?
yung second
Thank you.
question po ni MJ Blanca Flor, for Secretary Simato, kailan daw po ang target matapos ang flood mitigation projects na ito at magkano ang kakailanganin for these initiatives? Saan daw po kukunin ng pondo?
Opo. Yung tatlong major kasing gagawin namin dyan, yung aming paggamit ng assets natin dito ngayon ay we will still be making some computations and the additional na magagastos ng ating mga assets, tulad yung gasolina, kung ilan abutin ito, kung abutin tayo na isang taon doon, i-compute po naman natin pa yung mga magastos na mga, yung DPWH at saka yung ating Army engineers. Nag-usap-usap sila, sinabi ko, you just give me your computations by the next meeting, sinabi ko sa kanila. We will be having a next meeting next week. Pagkatapos po yung dredging naman, ang dredging naman ito ay dati ay malaking gastos ng gobyerno dito sa dredging noong panahon at this was undertaken by the DPWH. But we were looking for we will let the contractor i-dredge niya for free in the government at saka kunin nila yung sand na makuha niya, but they have to pay 4% excise tax to the BIR. Lahat namang makuha nila ng mga sands niyan, they have to pay 4% to the BIR. Ito po yung agreement with the contractor, pumayag rin naman sila.
Okay. For Secretary Roque, question po mula kay Eileen Taliping of Abante Tonight. Nung Lunes daw po inanunsyo nyo ang mandatory use of face shield, pero pagpasok po sa mall, ang face shield nakataas, ginawang headband ng mga tao. Kahit sa mga nagsisimba sa harap ng Quiapo Church, ang mga tao nakataas ang face shield. Hindi ba magtatakda ang IATF ng multa para maging maayos ang paggamit ng face shield at para makasigurong hindi makahawa ang mga ito ng virus?
Well, mga kababayan, kayo naman. Kaya nga rinirikwire ang face shield para magkaroon ng additional protection. No? Di umano, kapag pinagsama ang face mask at face shield, halos 99% protection yan. Pero kinakailangan isuot ng mabuti. Anyway, pag-uusapan po yan mamaya ang hapon ng IATF, yung mga paglilinaw pagdating po sa pagsuot ng face mask. Pero sa tanong ni Eileen, dapat sinusuot ng tama yan.
Thank you, Secretary.
Okay, face shield pala yun, face shield. Tricia Tirada, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Secretary. Sir, sa speech po ni Pangulo kagabi, after talking about the opposition, the President suddenly made some remarks. I-quote ko lang po yung part na yun. Sabi niya, tignan mo ang ginawa ng saan nakipagkasundo pati itong mga komunista sa nakapasok sa gobyerno. Do you think that we will stop there? I said you are a member of the grand conspiracy communism. Lahat kayo, the act of one is the act of all. Ikaw, Zarate, bantay ka. Medyo, sabi nyo, pinaalis ako. Well, really. Well, hingi lang sana kami, sir, ng clarification, paglilinaw dito sa statement na to. What did the President mean when he said, paalis na ako, really? And just to be clear, sir, who was he alluding to about yung sa grand conspiracy of communism? Kasama po ba dito yung opposition sa binabanggit niya?
Kasama po dyan si Congressman Zarate at yung Makabayan Black, no? Hindi naman po yung kabuuan ng opposition kasi matagal na po sinasabi niya na yung Makabayan Black may personal knowledge siya mismo, no, na talagang kabahagi yan sa conspiracy ng CPP-NPA.
Pero sir, ano pong ibig sabihin ng Pangulo nung sinabi niya na paalis na, sabi mo paalis na ako? Really? What did he mean by that?
He has 2 years left in his term of office. So, kaya nga palagi niyang sinasabi sa natitira niyang termino, number 1, dininisin niya ang korupsyon. Number 2, pagpapatuloy yung laban sa droga. Ganyan po. Number 3, talagang susupilin niya yung mga terorista na CPP-NPA.
Sir, dito naman po sa usapin po ng bakuna, nabanggit na nga po kanina na pinangalanan ni Senator Lacson si Secretary Roque. Kagabi po, sir, galit na galit si Pangulo dun sa mga incompetent people or incompetence in general sa gobyerno. Ito pong failure ni Secretary Roque na for example mag-submit nitong isang document lang. Hindi po ba ito proof of incompetence sa part ng palasyo? And para sa palasyo po, I mean, what does it entail para masabi po na incompetent ang isang official? Kumbaga, hindi ba malinaw to, sir, na evidence na may kapalpakan on the part of Secretary Roque? And kung hindi man po ito incompetence, isn't this blatant disregard, sir, or disrespect dun sa commitment and efforts ng mga taong nagtrabaho to secure the vaccines?
Walang problema po. Hindi po namin alam kung ano talaga yung pinag-usapan ni Secretary Locsin, Ambassador Romualdez at ni Secretary Pompeo. Kaya nga po minabuti ni Presidente na advisean si Secretary Duque answer the allegations of Secretary Locsin in the same manner that he defended himself in yesterday's meeting. No? Very lively at animated and emotional po ang pagsagot ni Secretary Duque kagabi, and the President asked him na answer it in the same way that you discussed the issues tonight. No? So, antayin na lang po natin ang mga kasagutan ni Secretary Duque. But I think from the overall demeanor of the President, wala naman po siyang nakikita na major lapse dahil lang pinag-uusapan po ay kontrata at hindi naman abogado po si Secretary Duque, no? So at wala rin pong danyos na nangyari because patuloy pa rin po ang pagkuha natin ng Pfizer at yun nga po yung katotohanan na bagamat sinabi na dapat January tayo makakakuha ng Pfizer, ang realidad po talaga spoken for na po yung mga ginawa o na manufacture ng Pfizer for delivery in January dahil yan po ibayad na ng mga bumili.
Pero sir, hindi po ba nanghihinayang ang palasyo or ang Pangulo na meron na nga po sana talaga tayong bakuna by January if only this document was submitted? Kumbaga kung nagawa lang po talaga yung proseso, meron na po sana tayong bakuna by January. And ito po bang naging pagkilos o itong failure ng ni Secretary Duque? Alam po ba ng Pangulo to beforehand? Kumbaga, may go signal po ba na alam niya na po na hindi matutuloy talaga itong Pfizer vaccine?
Well, Trish,
at least sa January.
The advice of the President to Secretary Duque is to answer the allegations. Let him answer muna po the allegations. I think you want a judgment from him. But I think the President was clear. There's a controversy. There's an allegation. He should answer. And we'll take it from there. Pero, ang ina-emphasize natin, mukha naman pong imposible talaga makakuha tayo ng Pfizer as of January. Kasi yung January deliverables nila completely paid for na by the rich countries. So, let's not speculate anymore. At ang importante ay patuloy po ang pag-uusap at mukhang makakakuha naman talaga tayo ng Pfizer anytime between second and third quarter of next year.
Thank you, Secretary. Salamat po.
Thank you, Trish. Yusek Roque, please.
Yes, Secretary, a question from John Pusalan of ABS-CBN Online. ASEAN parliamentarians are urging President Duterte to stop red tagging opposition lawmakers because they said that, I quote, had extremely violent consequences in the Philippines, and that the fact we are seeing President Duterte leading the way on such a menacing practice is utterly inexcusable, end quote. Will PRD heed their appeal? Why or why not?
That's a misleading question. Kasi ang impression na binibigay mo ay yung mga parliamentarians ng ASEAN ay iisa sa ganitong posisyon. Ako po ay naging kongresista, umattend din po o kanyang ASEAN Parliamentarian Forum na yan. Yan po ay organized by the Open Society Institute of George Soros. Ang mga nagpunta po nung panahon na ako yung nagpunta dyan, ako, akbayan, makabayan. So ibig sabihin, hindi po sila representative of the views of the overwhelming majority of parliamentarians. And because they're not, that's a view of a very few ASEAN parliamentarians, and I don't think it deserves any attention.
Ang second question po niya about dun sa Pfizer vaccine deal, who is right between Secretaries Duque and Locsin? And given that two top officials are issuing contradicting statements, what does this say about our bid to get vaccines?
Well, it doesn't affect po our need to have vaccine because the vaccine czar is no other than Secretary Galvez. Mag-away na ang lahat kung gusto nila, but the President has made it clear there's only one person in charge of getting the vaccine, it's Secretary Galvez. So these conflicting opinions between Secretary Locsin and Secretary Duque in the end does not really matter because it's Secretary Galvez who has the full authority and he will be fully accountable to the President, no one else, in case we bungle the purchase of the vaccines. But given the track record of Secretary Galvez, I think that's a far shot. We will succeed because of the proven competence of Secretary Galvez. Yun pong katotohanan. Mag-ingay na mag-ingay everyone else. Wala pong pakialam ang presidente dahil ang pagkuha ng vaccine with Secretary Galvez, no one else.
Question from Virgil Lopez of GMA7 News Online. Philippine ambassador to the US, Babe Romualdez, said the country missed its chance to access around 10 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine developed by Pfizer-BioNTech as early as January 2021 because the government failed to submit the required confidentiality disclosure agreement on time. Senator Panfilo Lacson, meanwhile, blames Health Secretary Duque for this. Is the President aware of this development? Will the President ask Secretary Duque to explain?
Well, guidance, sinagot ko na po yan. There's only one person in charge of vaccines. It's not Secretary Locsin. It's not Secretary Duque. It's only Secretary Galvez. Joseph Morong, please. Ay, meron pa.
Hindi, Secretary, parang follow-up lang po ito dun sa ASEAN parliamentarian. Then, sinabi rin po niya dito, the parliamentarian said the President's not actions are attempt to silence political opposition, undermine democracy, and directly put people's lives at risk, particularly those who oppose him.
Very, very small numbers of ASEAN parliamentarians said that. And because of this, that's part of their freedom of expression, which probably they don't even have in their own respective states. We leave it at that. Let that there be their views. Okay, Joseph Morong, please.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Can I go first to Secretary Simatu, and then I have a bunch of questions for you on other topics.
Yes, please.
Secretary Simatu, how are you doing? Sir?
Sec Simatu?
Oh, good morning, Joseph.
How are you?
See you again.
Okay, sir. Yun po munang sa dredging, no? This will affect several towns there. Now, you mentioned kanina that the dredging will be for free, but I'm interested to know who the contractors are and what's going to happen to the sands that they will dredge. Because alam naman po natin yung issue sa norte, no, na may mga allegations doon of some Chinese companies getting our sand. So first question, so dredging, who are the contractors? And then what will happen to the sand that they will get because the dredging will be for free? Walang babayaran but except for the 4% excise tax. That first?
Yes, yes. Ang magbibigay ng authority to dredge ay ang governor. The governor na will make an agreement with this contractor. Kasama po yan, mag-dredge sila for free, then they get this sand to sell it, but they have to pay excise tax to the government. 4% po ibabayad nila. Then ano naman, there is a process naman sa pagkuha ng ng contractor by the governor. Ay may proseso po yan. Mayroon lahat ng mga clearances, everything, at saka meron rin naman silang yung authority to transport nila, they have to get the clearance from the Bureau of Mines.
So sir, ibig sabihin, once they secure a clearance from the governor, the sand can go to anywhere the contractor wants to deliver it to. Maybe China?
Yes, but they have to, meron naman kasulatan dyan na dapat hindi pupunta yung mga nakuha nilang mga sand in some places, na West Philippine Sea, Scarborough, talagang naka-specify po, yung pupuntahan lang yan. And hindi naman basta-basta kung alisin nila, they can go anywhere. Mayroon tayong restrictions po dyan. Nasa kontrata yun.
Okay, sir. With regard to the dredging pa rin, yun po bang plano na yan? When will it start? And do you already have the consent of the local government? Because I understand there's some ruling from the Supreme Court that you have to have the LGU permission also. And did you also conduct a environmental impact assessment to see na we will not be disturbing the ecosystem there? Because I was told that there's a special fish there that is endemic to the river, dudong ba yun? So, two aspects. Meron po bang consent ng mga local governments there? And did we have a environmental impact assessment for this project? And when is it going to start?
Kasama po lahat yon. In fact, there is a committee doon sa Tuguegarao. Meron to committee doon from different agencies including the local government na talagang inaano nila ito lahat, including the ECC from the DNR, including the permit from the governor and the mayor. Kasi maraming mga maraming mga towns na madaanan. Mauna going upstream kasi pag-dredge nila kasi hindi makapasok yung vessels nila. And marami kasi maluwag ito. Talagang if I had to compute kung ilang buwan ito na makausog sila hanggang Tuguegarao ay abutin ng mga taon pa siguro ito eh. Kasi mula Apari hanggang Tuguegarao lang, 100 kilometers na kagad yan. Ang una pa lang nila gagawin is 8 kilometers lang muna. Ilang buwan siguro yan. So ganun talaga, medyo matagal talaga. This is a long-term really solution. Kaya yung short-term na magagawa natin, kung alibaw next year magkakaroon ulit ng ganyang talaga, we have to do something now. At ito yung magapit. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, magapit na na mabawasan by the engineers natin. So we will not be relying on the contractors dito. Sa atin mismo na gagawa rito.
Pero sir, pumayag na po yung mga local governments, ng Alcala, yung ganon.
Yes, very interested sila. In fact, very willing nga si Mayor Antonio yata yung nandun sa Alcala, including si Dr. Rican na yun. We're able to nag-usap kami doon sa Tuguegarao.
Sir, super short question. Marikina dredging, you're going to remove reclaimed areas there. Kasama sir dyan yung may mga residential lots ba yan sir, na residential areas na maapektuhan?
Opo. Kasi ito, hindi naman yung nandyan na, kung hindi naman sila kasama si Isbert o kaya hindi naman yung mga nag-violate nag-put up ng structures na within the river itself. In fact, some of them nag-reclaim na nga yung napasikip na yung napasikip na yung 90 meter noon ng wide, how wide was yung Marikina River noon, 90 noon, ngayon naging 60 na lang ay isang portion. So ito ngayon ang we have already given a notice of violation to some of the lot owners. Pinakita ko kanina kung saan itong mga pumasok sa river. At kung ano na dito, mabawasan natin ito, ay talagang luluwag yung daanan ng river doon sa Marikina.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your time. Nice to see you again. Secretary Roque, can I go to you now?
Please go ahead.
All right, sir. Several questions. Secretary Duque, you said that Secretary Duque explained himself to the president. We didn't see that in the public address kagabi. Now, I'm interested in the circumstances. What was that? How was that brought up? Kayo ba yung, tinanong mo ba? Yung issue dun sa meeting nyo kahapon? And what was the Secretary Duque's explanation to the president?
Well, okay, I will answer you. Yes, I brought it up because I felt that it was something that the president himself should address, given that there were two different accounts given by two members of the cabinet. No, so it's not something that I, as Pox, could address myself, and that is why the full extent of what I will tell you is what the president advised Secretary Duque should do, and that is to respond to Secretary Locsin.
You can tell us how he explained himself to the president?
I cannot contravene what the president has said. It is Secretary Duque who should respond to Secretary Locsin.
So, establish na natin, sir, na however we interpret the dropping of the ball, there was somebody na medyo nagkaroon ng problema with regard to Pfizer, yes?
I don't think meron talagang conclusion na nagkaroon ng problema with Pfizer. Kaya nga po importante na sagutin ni Secretary Duque yung aligasyon.
Okay, so what was the effect of the alleged dropping of the ball? Because January, obviously, hindi na yun mangyayari, so that's a consequence. Number 2, 10 million doses sana, sir. Where are we at now with Pfizer? Is it less than 10 million?
Well, unang-una po, no, ang sabi naman ni Secretary Galvez who was in the meeting, imposible naman po ata talaga na mabibigyan tayo ng 10 million as of January kasi nga po, fully committed na yung mga mamamanufacture ng Pfizer for January. In fact, nabili na po ito at ito po yung ginagamit na sa Estados Unidos, sa Britanya, at possibly sa Canada and Australia. No? So parang ang sabi ni Secretary Valdez, from what he knows, imposible naman talagang makaka-deliver sila ng January. But talks are still in the advanced stages, and kaya nga po we expect that we will have Pfizer between the second and the third quarter. As to the quantity, that's covered by NDA or non-disclosure agreement. Last question,
Pero sir,
please.
kasi kinumit na, hindi follow up, kinumit na yung 10 million eh. So parang sayang yun. Is the president not nangihinayang dun sa 10 million? Kasi parang sure ball na yun. January pa nga, pinakamaaga sana.
Joseph, abogado rin ako, no? Kaya ang NDA applies to the volume, applies to the cost, and applies to delivery date specifically, no? So please understand, I cannot respond even if I knew, but on purpose, dahil si Sec Galvez lang naman in charge dyan, hindi ko na po yan pinaghihimasukan. I just take the information or whatever new secretary has and I tell the public. Most of the time,
TRB.
iniimbita ko po si Secretary Galvez para siya mismo magdeklara, no? At magsabi kung ano yung mga balita, no? So let's leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Joseph.
No. TRB, sir. Isa lang, TRB. Which one is it? Because we're trying to get them to react dun sa statement ni Presidente. Pero ayaw nilang magsalita.
Ano po bang masasabi nila?
Which one is
no?
it?
Sisibakin
No,
silang
which
lahat
one?
dahil incompetent sila. O what's there to ask pa?
Which one is it? Sisibakin? Ask to resign? Already fired? Papalitan na ng military? Which one is it, sir? From the statements of the President. Fired already?
He was clear. Wag na sigurong mag-antay na sibakin. Kailangan mag-resign ang mga inkompetente. At hindi lang naman po sa TRB yan. Lahat ng regulatory bodies. That's a warning to everyone. Kung hindi nyo kayang gawin ang trabaho ninyo, mag-resign na kayo. Huwag nyo na kayong mag-antay na sibakin kayo. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Yusek Roque.
Yes, a question for Secretary Simato from Melo Acuña. Pahabol po niya kung pwede daw pong pangalanan ni Secretary Simato ang nasa likod ng quarry controversy sa Albay.
Secretary Simatu.
Uh, I will find out from my regional director there kung who are the owners of the quarry operator sa hindi ko lang familiar yung mga who are those behind sa mga nagwa-quarry doon. I will check, I will give you the names now pagkatapos ito. I will ask immediately. Hindi ko kasi alam kung sino mga those are behind of this quarry doon sa Bicol.
Opo, question for Secretary Roque mula po kay Sam Medenilla. May naging desisyon na po kaya si President Duterte pagdating po sa assessment ng performance ng telco companies?
Well, ang last declaration po ng regulatory agency na National Telecoms Communication ay binibigyan nila hanggang end of this year bago nila evaluate ang mga performance ng companies kasi ngayon lang naman talaga nabigyan ng up to 5,000 permits, 5,000 towers, no? Permits for 5,000 towers, no? So, hayaan natin, bigyan natin sila ng panahon para ma-construct actually mga towers, then they will evaluate.
Second question po niya, nakarating na po kaya kay President Rodrigo Duterte ang bill extending the effectivity of the Bayanihan 2 at saka po ang 2021 national budget?
Wala pa po, lalo na yung budget, no? Wala pa po. So I was asked to clarify, as far as schedule is concerned, meron pong naunang schedule ng symbolic signing on the 23, but there's been an additional date provided na the next date provided is December 28. So either December 23 or December 28 has been the date allotted for symbolic signing.
Opo. Secretary Roque, tanong naman po ni Ace Romero, naniniwala po kayo at si Secretary Galvez na imposible yung 10 million doses ng Pfizer vaccine sa January kahit nag-broker sina Secretary Locsin at Secretary Pompeo? If it's impossible, why would these officials waste their time exerting such effort kung imposible nga daw po ito?
Ako wala po kong opinion dyan because I was not there in the negotiations, no? Si Secretary Galvez only said na parang imposible na magkaroon ng delivery as of January kasi ubos na nga po yung supply na manufacture as of January. Matagal na pong ubos yun, no? So parang, I think if you judge what has been said also by Ambassador Romualdez, he's saying that the delay in signing the document may have caused a delay in the procurement, no? Pero at that point kasi nag-uunahan. So sa akin po, everything is speculative because ang katotohanan, we don't know. Ang katotohanan lamang is we will have the Pfizer vaccine when we actually have it. Okay? Thank you. Pierre Nada, please.
Hello, Secretary.
Yes.
Sir, may I just have a quick question for Secretary Simatu?
Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Secretary Simatu, you mentioned, sir, may mga violations of reclamation projects in Marikina which you plan to crack down on. Sir, can I just clarify, does this include the BF Corporation reclamation? And BF Corp is supposedly owned by former Mayor Bayani Fernando. And ano po yung mangyayari dun sa reclamation project na yun, given your findings?
Mayroon lang doon, paki-plus lang yung mga lot numbers, yung mga nag-intro, nag-put out ng structure dyan sa river so that we can only give the lot number but the owners ay hindi na-specify pa. Lang so that we have a list na nag-intro dito sa river but the lot number lang ang nakalagay naman na bigay sa akin. So, I will still get from the NRA. Ito po yun. Yung mga lot numbers ba? Para malaman kung Ito po, yung sa kaliwa, sa left side yung mga, uh, uh, these are the lot numbers na, ito na sa identified encroachment on Marikina River. Ito po yung mga nag-encroach ng lot number including the areas na encroach. Ito, lot number 4, ito yung number. So we'll check kung sino may-ari ang mga ito. Hindi lang nailagay kasi mga pangalan.
Okay, kasi sir, I recall you saying that wala raw pong ECC yung BF Corp reclamation. And that's why si Marikina Mayor Marcy Chodoro was planning actually to file an administrative complaint. And you were also mentioned there, sir, that you would look into it. So I was just wondering, diba, since you knew naman before that yung BF Corp nga po yung involved dito, any update on that? Like yung even just their ECC compliance?
Oh, well, talagang hindi mabibigyan ng ECC kasi encroaching sa river, talagang definitely walang ECC, bibigay namin yan. A violation na talaga yun eh. So, wala talagang ECC yan. So, ito na ngayon yung mga ano natin, i-find out namin to sa then we'll ask him to explain and then and after that, kung talagang violation yung ginawa niya, mag-self-demolish na lang sila dyan. Otherwise, we will be the one to demolish at their cost.
Sir, you're referring to the BF Corp reclamation specifically?
Oy, misleading ka naman, Pia. Sabi na nga ni Sec, hindi niya alam eh.
Oh, sir, because I asked about the ECC compliance, which he knew about. So I'm just clarifying, sir. Is he referring specifically to BF Corp?
Oh, well, to be fair also, baka naman hindi tayo sigurado kung sino may-ari kasi hindi nakalagay sa aming listahan yung sa lot number, walang lot number ito, yung area na sinasabi siguro ninyo, walang lot number, so we don't know yet the order. But we will check and in due time siguro malalaman natin na Pia.
Okay, thank you po. For Secretary Roque naman, sir. Sir, maiba lang ako dun sa ICC. Sir, kasi, di ba the ICC is trying, the prosecutor is still seeing if she will ask for authority to conduct an investigation on whether or not the government is willing or unable to investigate the EJK or the drug-related deaths. So, sir, my question is, will the president has the president ever withdrawn his order to the police not to give domestic bodies like the CHR their investigation folders? Because I think this is what prompted Catarina Cuy before, the former DILG undersecretary, to tell police to withhold those investigation folders from the CHR.
When we withdrew our membership from the Rome Statute, we also withdrew from the obligation to cooperate. So we are under no obligation to cooperate with the ICC, which is why in one decision, which I understand has been reconsidered, but the practical issue remains the same. How will you proceed with an investigation when there is unwillingness to cooperate? When the police will not give the records, anong gagawin mong investigasyon? Natural, ang
Yes, sir.
magiging basehan ng investigasyon mo, yung sinasabi ng Makabayan Black.
Opo, sir. Actually, I'm not referring to the ICC investigation. I'm referring to probes by domestic bodies. Kasi, sir, that's exactly what the ICC is trying to find out. Is the government at least cooperating with domestic mechanisms for attaining justice for drug war abuses? And so the standing order of the president to withhold these investigation folders could be taken by the ICC as unwillingness to investigate. So I just want to know, sir, has the president withdrawn this order or does it still stand?
I don't understand what you're asking, but what's clear is that Secretary Guevara even created an interagency committee to look into these alleged cases of extralegal killings, proving that we are discharging our obligation to investigate and prosecute.
So, sir, do you think that the ICC should not see this order against the CHR? Because, sir, CHR, it's separate from the executive branch in the sense that it's a constitutional commission. So it's perceived as more removed from the executive branch, from the politics of the president. And so it's the question here is, do you think the ICC should see this order as proof that that the government is not willing to investigate these deaths, at least even domestically?
I don't know what order you're talking about, But as I said, the DOJ Secretary himself has created an interagency committee to look into these alleged cases of extralegal killings. No? That's the full extent of our obligation, no? Given that there's no allegation that we actually ordered the killings. Okay? So as to the CHR, yes, it's a constitutional body, but the ICC should have looked into the fact on who the chairman of CHR is and the fact that he is a very political supporter of the opposition.
So, sir, will the president allow the CHR to receive the investigation folders on the drug war?
I do not know, no, because the executive already is investigating, so it's superfluous. No, but I do not know really what CHR will do. We don't mess around with the operations of CHR, and they can do whatever they want. Okay, thank you very much, Pia, for your quick but explosive questions on Cagayan, on Marikina, I should say. Thank you, Yusek. Back to Yusek Roque. Yusek Roque, wala kang audio. Hello, Yusek Roque, walang audio. Hello, walang audio. Siguro habang nag-a-attend kang
Ito
bumalik.
na, Secretary.
Yan,
Ito na po.
ayun.
Yan. Okay, kasi na-unmute po ako. Sabi po ni...
Panik ka dun, ha?
Question from Laila Salaveria po pahabol. Sabi po ni Secretary Duque, the confidentiality agreement with Pfizer was originally supposed to be signed by the Office of the President, but ES later said the DOH should sign. Nagka-roadblock din ba sa Office of the President about dito daw po sa Pfizer deal?
This is about acquisition of a vaccine po, kaya naman po rinifer yan sa Department of Health because hindi naman po jurisdiction ng Office of the President yung pagbili ng bakuna. That's really a line function of the Department of Health. Opo.
May pahabol pong tanong si Marichu Villanueva ng Philippine Star.
Hello, Ichu.
Opo. Pa-clarify daw po, he announced daw po today less than dedicated beds to COVID, but DOH Secretary Duque asking hospitals to provide extra beds to anticipate super spreader event this holiday season.
Clarification po. Sa ngayon po, ang bumaba ay yung TTMFs, Temporary Treatment and Monitoring Facilities. Other words, isolation facilities po. Pero pagdating po sa hospital natin, no, hospital capacity natin, makikita nyo po na nasa 22% po tayo of ABC. ABC po yan, yung rini-require natin ngayon sa mga hospital na ireserba para sa mga COVID-19 patients. At hindi naman po puno yan. At makikita nyo, dumami nga po yung mga beds natin. No? Sa ward beds, dahil nga dito sa ini-enforce natin na 22% of bed capacity, approved bed capacity, meron na tayong karagdagan na 595 beds na ward beds, meron tayong karagdagan na 546 isolation beds, at meron po tayong karagdagan na 271 ICU beds at additional 15 units of mechanical ventilators. So ang mga naisara lang po ngayon for the time being ay yung mga isolation facilities.
Okay. Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you. So wala na po tayong mga katanungan. Thank you very much to Secretary Cimatu. Thank you very much to Yusek Roque, and thank you very much to the men and women of the Malacañang Press Corps. I hope you enjoy your virtual party tomorrow. At meron naman tayong kahit papanong mga momentos, no, mga maliit na tokens, no, at sana mabusog kayo sa mga tahanan nyo habang kayo nagkakainan, because I understand that it is a virtual party. I hope to join you too. So yes, I think I will be able to join you tomorrow. And for the time being po, sa ngalan po ng inyong Presidente, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, ito po yung spokes nagsasabi, sana po gumawa tayo ng hakbang para tayo magkaroon ng Merry Christmas at Happy New Year. Kaya po yan sa pamamagitan ng mask, hugas at iwas. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.